our borough engineer, Mr. Glenn Beckmeyer, and Andrew Schroden.
Yeah.
Okay, would you like to come up and tell us what you found?
Wait, should I,
We don't have a microphone, right? Where's it?
oh, I don't need a microphone.
Okay.
doesn't need a microphone.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Glenn Beckmeyer, I'm the borough engineer. This is Andrew Schroden, professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. Andrew has a master's in structural engineering from Newark College of Engineering. He also ran a steel fabricating business for 20 years, so he does have a background in steel construction, which basically the parking garage it's a steel structure with a reinforced concrete deck on it, almost like a bridge going over a river. We were asked by Mr. Sorelli to look at the parking deck because we had issues of water coming through the deck, the concrete deck, and I went and did a tour of the facility by myself at first, and I saw some things that were concerning to me, and at that point I asked Paul if I could bring in a structural engineer to look at it as well to get another opinion. Just off the bat, what we saw as we walked around, I don't know if you noticed, we have a steel plate on the entrance. The first day when I went there, if you stood underneath on the what I call a basement floor where the blacktop is, and you looked up, you can actually see daylight coming through the deck. At that point, that's when we requested Mario to put the steel plate over it, which spanned the concrete abutment that you drive up to, and the first steel beam to span over the deck. Walking around, we also saw other things that concerned us. There is numerous places where the galvanized decking is rotted away, and you can see the concrete from the bottom. Just a little background, and I can let Mr. Schroeder explain it a little bit further. You have a deck material of concrete with a steel ribbed form underneath decking material. Some places that decking material would only be used as a form to hold the concrete in place until it hardened up, gained its strength so you can use it. Other places it's actually incorporated as this part of the steel within the reinforced concrete deck. So it's part of the calculation to give strength to the deck material. We received from Mario shop drawings and design drawings from when it was built, and looking over that material, indeed the deck is part of the structure of that deck. So without that deck, or where it's rotted away, the deck is strength has been reduced. Okay. There are other issues that we saw concerning bolts. We noticed that bolts were popping in a steel structure and are missing. There are, again, going deep into it, there's two types of friction bolts that are used, and we don't know if, well, we don't think that the bolts were used were properly installed. Does that mean that they're going to fail right now? No, we don't believe so, but we do believe they should be changed out to the proper type of bolts. What else?
Does that, and I don't interrupt, does that mean the bolts you're saying that were used in the original construction weren't the right type, or they're just
it's not that they weren't the right type, they weren't installed properly. To give you a little background, there's two types of bolts. One has the bolt has a hex head that you can put a wrench on it, and then you put the nut with a wrench or a torque wrench. There's some other issues with we don't know if the deck the concrete on the deck was actually treated when it was first built, and that's why we're getting a lot of infiltration through the concrete and a lot of rusting underneath.
Treated it in what way?
You want to explain that, Andy?
Yeah, a curing agent put on top of the concrete after it's poured, which causes the concrete to densify, shed water, keeping, I think Mary was saying, protecting the concrete from corrosion, from salts and road materials that would come up there dragged up by cars. Joints are critical when you do slabs like this, where it's subjected to rain and snow especially. You don't want water falling through except at the drains. I specifically went there on a tropical storm or something one day this month and took pictures of, you didn't really have to take pictures, you could just witness it. You need an umbrella to walk underneath the structure, because every place water was not supposed to be coming through is where it was coming through. Just real quickly to go and show, I could pass these around, but let me just,
Yeah, you want to show them?
this is the deck deterioration. That shows primarily what we found as far as deck deterioration. Because it's
Right,
I
I know.
I've inspected several structures, parking structures especially, and if you take a piece of concrete like this and it comes down and pops you on the head, you're in trouble. The whole town, somebody's gonna own the town because you knew it. So I would say you need to,
Shut down at least the
maintenance
lower
people
level.
go in, start areas where there is